what's up guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lauren Hardy and I am your wholesaling coach. Do you wonder what type of contracts are needed to wholesale real estate? Well, I'm going to answer that in this video today. Contracts are scary, especially if you don't have a lot of experience with contracts in general. But I first and foremost want to start this video out with letting you know they're really not that scary, and I don't want you to be intimidated by them. In fact, in subsequent videos on this YouTube channel, I have video tutorials of me screen sharing and writing contracts. I'm going to actually include those links in the show notes below so you can watch those videos after this one. But make sure you watch this one first. If you don't understand your real estate contracts in a wholesale transaction, you can really get screwed. You need to have a very, very good understanding of how contracts work and how your specific contract works. My personal purchase agreements and assignment agreements were drafted from 9 years of experience, and I've changed them over the years. When I first started this business, I got a boilerplate purchase agreement from some other real estate professional in a coaching program. And I would use that, not even fully understanding all the terms that were in it. But as situations come up, I learned to put things in my contract that are important, and that just kind of comes from experience. It's important that you understand, how to manipulate and work contracts for you so you are protected against anything, that can go wrong in transactions. And believe me, there's a lot of ways that things could go wrong in a transaction. But when you have a good bulletproof contract, it really does eliminate a lot of the things that could happen to you. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what contracts you need when you're wholesaling, and I'm going to explain why you really need to understand how to use them. So let's get into it. What contracts do you need as a wholesaler? The two contracts that you need to have your own versions of that you get an attorney to actually review for you in the state that you are practicing in, okay? That's very important. If you are buying property in the state of Illinois, you need to make sure that you have an Illinois real estate attorney reviewing your contracts. The two contracts that you need are, number one, you need a purchase agreement. Number two, you need an assignment agreement. Now, why it's important to get an attorney in that state to review these documents is because depending on what state you're in, there might be other disclosures necessary that are required by your state. And that attorney will know and tell you. There might even be some line items that you need to include in your contract that's very specific to that state. So you want to make sure, you're doing everything right per the laws in that state. The purchase agreement is a document that is between you and the seller of the home, and it's negotiating all the terms of the sale, like the purchase price, the closing timeline, the terms of the contract, what's included in the sale. That is what is in the purchase agreement. The assignment agreement is the contract you use that is going to assign your equitable interest to an end buyer. The assignment agreement is essentially what is negotiated, that covers all the terms that are negotiating that deal of you selling this purchase agreement to an end buyer. Hopefully, I didn't trip you up on that. You want to make sure that your assignment agreement is really bulletproof. You want to have a wholesaler-friendly attorney, somebody who really understands real estate wholesaling, to review this, because there are some sneaky things that I've seen wholesalers put in their assignment agreements. I've also seen things that they've left out. So you want to make sure that you've really protected yourself in that sale, and not just that, like protect the original seller of the home in that sale with your assignment agreement. Items that you really want to see in both purchase agreement and assignment agreement would be like a purchase price, an earnest money deposit, closing timeline, exactly what is included in the sale. Funny side note, we have a line in our purchase agreement that makes sure that all the fixtures that are attached to the house are included in the sale, because I had a seller one time at the close of escrow remove all of the attached fixtures in the home, which cost us several thousands of dollars. So you want to make sure that these sorts of things are covered in your purchase agreement. And like I said, these things just come up, and you realize like, gosh, if this was in my purchase agreement originally, this wouldn't have been an issue. But now that it's not, it's kind of this gray area. And sometimes you have to eat, those mistakes. So it's really important that, you've really thought these sorts of things through when you are drafting your contracts. Another reason you really want to make sure that you understand your contracts and you're working with contracts all the time would be in a situation where either the seller ghosts you or doesn't perform on their contract, or the end buyer. So let's start with the seller ghosting. I call it ghosting just like when you're dating, right? It's when the seller just disappears off the face of the earth. So you've gotten a purchase agreement signed, you've maybe inspected the home even, and then all of a sudden the seller stops answering your calls or escrow's calls. And likely that's because they got a better offer from somebody else and they think that if they just ignore you, you will go away. Well, if you have a purchase agreement and you have a legal drafting document here that protects you, you now have an interest in that home and you can record that purchase agreement on that property in most states to protect your interest in that sale. So the seller can't just go sell the house from under you. The next scenario would be a buyer. What if you have an end buyer sign the assignment agreement, but then they can't close? Well, what can you do? Well, you do have a purchase agreement or an assignment agreement, that can hold them to the terms of that sale, or at the very least take their earnest money deposit. So you want to make sure, that everything that you're negotiating is in writing. Now, I get it. A lot of this sounds extremely technical, but I promise you, it really isn't that hard. Make sure you check out the subsequent videos of where I'm actually filling out these documents. And if you are still nervous, get a coach, get a real estate coach of some kind. I've got a coaching program. I'll make sure I put that link in the show notes below. But make sure you understand your contracts. Get that attorney to take a look at it. It will be like the best $200 you'll ever spend. That way, you can sleep at night, knowing that you are legally protected in your wholesale business. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for listening to this video. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, leave a comment and I will see you next time.